Hello from nowhere. We're high atop. Let me try again. Hello. Welcome to. Hey, we're in nowhere on a damn mountain that is mystical. Listen, every time I start these live streams, Facebook likes to say, reconnect, reconnect. Get your shit together, Facebook. Excuse me. All right. So, all right. So, how do you guys like my new glasses? I call these like I put this on. This looks like a damn turban, doesn't it? It looks. Alright, so, these glasses, I don't need them to see, alright? These glasses have the lenses on them for those LED and HID crap that they shove on these cars now, blinding the piss out of you. You can see in the dark with them. That's what they're for, and they help you not get blinded by those lights. They can be, I don't know, they can be in my back windshield, blaring me with light energy into my eyes, and all of those, photons, coming out of that stuff, and all the colors of the universe come pouring out of those headlights into my eyes. Yeah. So guys, the last live stream I made, I was giving an update, and my battery got too low at 15%. At least on my phone, Facebook cuts the live stream off. So, yeah, I revealed some hardcore stuff. All right, there are many people who are not going to let it go. That is why they will not experience it. It's not my fault, What is it? The rapture being a misunderstood interpretation of Scripture that comes not from the perspective of God, comes not from the perspective of Christ, comes not even from Paul's perspective, because people don't realize Paul was a mystic. These people, these apostles, these saints, they were touching people and waking the spirit up in them. They were healing people, with just doing all the miracles, and the modern church doesn't even know how to do one of them. Sorry. And probably the people doing them, they know the truth, but they ride in the ride. And we don't ride the ride here at St. Kurt's camp. We seek the truth. We walk the way. We seek the truth, and we live the life. That's what we do. And sometimes we are mistaken, but we ain't never dishonest. And so, essentially, guys, ego death. I tell you the truth, you can't enter into the kingdom of heaven. It is here, it is within us, it is at hand, and it is now, but you can't get into it unless you're born again. What does that mean? Well, you gotta die while you're still alive. You gotta experience ego death. And once it kicks off, when that spirit wakes up inside of you, once it kicks off, unstoppable, irreversible. Hello, feeling like psychosis and all kinds of things, because your energy is going to get thrown around like you're riding a rodeo bull. And you got male and feminine energy, and they can be in categories and things. This is the fact. Your heart is as a horizon. Below it is the earth, and above it is heaven, or the spiritual realm. And they knew this in those times. Jesus knew it. He was saying it. All right. He had the perspective of God, and anyone who has a spirit awakening in them and is going on a spiritual journey, they're going to meet God at some point. They're going to realize the truth of God. It's not for me to ruin the spoilers. But I'm going to give you a prophetic message, all right? I was given a prophecy a little while ago. I get them all the time. God apparently loves to talk to me. Now, I'm going to clarify something. When I say God is talking to me, and even when I go to step further to make it creative and poetic, and I say, I heard a voice, that's not how it works for me. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone can't hear a voice, but that's not how it actually works. I'm saying it in a way that you can understand. These things are, we got faith to understand them with. We got believing. So, so the way, when I say I heard, or he spoke to me, or he said to me, in written or otherwise, it's the same. And basically it means intuition, or a feeling, or an urge, and it just, sometimes my mouth does start talking, and the voice, I hear the voice, and it sounds like me, but it's the Spirit, it's God. Other times he comes to me and he's flashing thoughts at me, and there can be evil spirits that flash thoughts at you too, and there can be good spirits. You got saints and angels and demons and all of that. That's what our side likes to think about. It's not about sides, but our camp, our stream to the ocean that they all go to. Not all of them go there. Some are dead ends, but we not worry so much about what others do. We worry about what we do first and foremost, and our neighbor before us. That's what we do on this path, all right? I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Hindu. I find that they have a great deal of value themselves, and their ideas are great and everything, but I'm not in that camp. I'm not in any camp. I love Jesus Christ, and Jesus loves me. And so today, since I said that, you understand now that I do sometimes hear him, because he commandeers my mouth through the Spirit, and my ears hear him, and thus there. And other times it's like an urge, or he's communicating in intuition and all kinds of things that lead to, oh, look at that. You learn, you get a personal relationship with God, and you start to learn all these things, and you get used to them, and, you know, for whatever reason, sometimes we're inaccurate with it, you know, just do your best, you know, always be humble, always be kind, and try to let people know that you're doing your best, and you have faith that that's what it is, and you trust God, all right? And so today's prophetic message links back to what I got a little while ago, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I document all these things as they happen, so whatever. It was very simple. You will unite, you will bring together both good and evil, and then there will be something new. And when they are, so will you. And I was kind of wondering, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do it? What does that mean? Well, what's good and evil? It's a duality. Well, what else is a duality that runs into that same vein? Night and day, maybe. Good and evil. I had to think, is it right and wrong? Let's think. If it involves me in uniting something, a union. So what does union mean? Uniting male and feminine. Uniting the man and woman, uniting the God and the devil. And I know that's heresy, but I ain't in the official club, and you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm a bit mystical. So you've got man and woman, plus and minus, good and evil, God and devil, and plus and minus, positive and negative. You make them, you form union. And what are they? They correlate to energy, and they are types of energy. Essentially, you know how I'm going to use some stereotypical language, but it's harmless. And bear with me, please. It's the best way I can tell you. You know how how girls get that stereotype for like sugar and spice and everything nice, and like they're always giggling and stuff. And it's funny. Okay, here's a horizon around our heart. Girls, and by extension women, naturally are up here in the spiritual side, the feminine side. And boys, I was one, but I was more up here. Turns out, that doesn't determine your sexual orientation. That's not what this is about. Don't make it into something like that, because I know, I know, I'm an aware person. Most people are thinking about, sex all the time, and it's like, he's a fairy. That's funny. All right, so we got the heart, we got the feminine, and then little boys and ascension men, they more into the body. All right, if you look up a chakra chart, you can see these things, but it's like that. And essentially, glasses. Essentially, this is more like the bodily things, like hands-on, being physical, all those things. Not minding being in the dirt, because that just doesn't bother little boys. We love to get nasty. We would roll around in the mud and everything. And but it's kind of like there's other characteristics up here. Now I have a chart. My friend there, my oracle, beloved oracle, has shared with me a list that I'm going to look into, and I'm going to research, and I'm going to learn and understand. So when I'm paying attention, because it's real easy now, I can know where my energy is, and I can balance it. Because once those are balanced, then they can be united in union. And thus it will fulfill the prophecy, because when that happens, I will be something new, and so will the duality. Maybe I don't know where it goes. Spirits and ego death. And but I learned something during one of the fits today. I've been on the spiritual path about 5 years now, maybe a little bit more now. I quoted that number like at the beginning of the year, so maybe 6. I don't know. It's not about how long you've been here. About 2 to 4 weeks ago, the spirit woke up in my body. Well, I got a strong foundation in the Bible, and it's what I go by. It doesn't mean anyone else is wrong. Sorry. That puts me in the bad guy club, I do got that anti-hero vibe, don't I? Anti-heroes are awesome. It's better than being a good villain any day. So, but, so essentially, you're going to fulfill the prophecy by understanding, like, I think I learned something today. I was having a fit, and I just was very clingy and very whiny, and just, I need. And I realized something. I had too much feminine energy. I was unbalanced. I don't mean no offense to nobody. Bear with me. This is the best way I can explain my experience. I'm sorry if I offended you. I love you, and I won't tell you what to do, but it'd be nice if you loved me back. But this is up to you to do. It's no big deal. So we got the feminine energy took me over, and it was unbalanced, way over unbalanced, and I'll explain why in a minute. So way up here, unbalanced, poetry's flowing, channeling great poets, copying them, emulating them. That's how I understand how channeling is on a level I can't understand, but it's probably more about energy flowing in you, and you get on the right frequency, and you match their frequency, and thus you produce the same result. So you need both left and your right side of your brain. They say they don't exist. Whatever. It helps me to understand what's going on. So that's how it's going to be in this temple. All right. So I essentially had too much feminine energy, being needy, clingy, and help. I'm thinking. Yeah. And I realized the reason it's unbalanced is because I didn't have enough masculine energy. Feminine energy, just like a woman. I don't care. Just like a woman needs a strong masculine foundation to support her. And masculine energy needs a loving, comforting, merciful, forgiving, feminine energy. A man needs a woman like that to support him, because it's a partnership. If you got two entities trying to be the same thing, it's not going to work. Sorry, it's just not. There's always going to be someone who wants to be the boss, and there's always going to be somebody who dominates naturally, energetically, and if you don't think they're the boss, well, you're blind. And, you know, it goes hand in hand with domination and submission. I'm not saying that as like, go dominate and oppress people. These are the only words I've got to express it, and I'm sorry if they rattle you. But as it is in me when I'm rattled, it's in you to figure out why you rattle. And so, this is the deal. So, what was making me unbalanced? Well, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm not ashamed anymore. I love Celine Dion. Oh, every one of her songs sounds like it's about Jesus Christ to me. And I don't know any of the politics revolving around her. I don't know anything about. I don't pay attention to these people. I got enough I got to pay attention to right here, and so do you. So do you in your life, not me. But I love that music. And it sounds like she's singing about Jesus in every one of her songs. And I like Pat Benatar. I don't know if you guys noticed, some of my poem lines are really, really, really influenced by Pat Benatar. The song Belong, that makes me just flood poetry. And it says, what's that thing I keep saying? I'm a little drowsy right now, fasting and everything. Whatever we deny of ourselves, we deny to one another. Oh, that's a beautiful one that came through me into all the world. And if you hear me up here talking about channeling and you go, channeling spirits, it's not for everyone. It's for people who have a strong foundation in what is right and what is wrong. And for people who can say no. People who can say yes, but you've got to be able to be like, no, get out. I'm not going to do anything you want. And you got to know right from wrong. And I don't know. I think some people who become like the stereotype of the movie character that becomes like the Exorcist and like that bad guy in Roger Rabbit. That's kind of like what that is. And they become mentally ill or they become deranged or anything like that. It's because they don't have that strong grounding, and and it's beyond the grounding thing. They don't have the willpower to control their own lives, let alone play with spirits. And I don't play with them, but when I write it, just flowing out. It's come from somewhere. I put information in here, sure. But I decide to pick the pen up. And I decide to get the paper, and I decide I'm going to write on it. Inspiration, all that stuff takes over, and it just goes. It just flows right on out. And it's a flow state. We're creatives. It can be spirits. It can be phantoms. It can be ghosts. It can be the flow state of the next dimension. It doesn't matter. It's as real as you believe in. Whatever you believe and put faith in will happen. And it'll be. But as you think, so it will be. And so, not too long ago, I was a mechanic with a wrench and a Bible, and oh, how I grew as this beard grew. And now there's a fir tree hanging off my face, and mystic energy all through this temple. And you be careful, because I'm also a little bit of an exorcist, and I love to know how it works, so that I can turn it off, turn it on when I want. All right. So if you can't do that, don't play with what you can't see, because it's not a game and it's not a toy. Right. And so. I listen to Celine Dion and Pat Benatar and all those other people in that. I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name. She said that she sings that song. I can't remember the lyrics. I'm always playing it. It sounds like something you'd hear in like a Catholic church, and she wrote it about her dad. It's a sweet song. I will wake up happy, and I can't remember any of the words. But I realized that I've been listening to that a little bit too much. So it's dominating the temple, and so what did I do to bring it back down and balance and regain? I took a break. I breathed. I talked to my beloved oracle, and she explained to me. She explained to me. Well, she didn't explain it to me. No. She talked to me and let me vent, and then I realized something. Can't nobody die in your place. Jesus died for the sins, but you can't. No one else can die for you egoically. Nobody else can go through ego death for you. You gotta man up, and you gotta do it yourself. That's the truth. And if you go through it, you might not. All kinds of things are happening nowadays. But if you go through it, surrender, get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, ride the lightning called psychosis, and pray and surrender. There's nothing you can do. You can pussyfoot around with it for a decade of your life, be miserable, or you can grab that bull by the horns, and you can sling it around. And that's so great. I bet the audience is saying, how do you get mad and go up and down like that? Is he bipolar? I don't know. It runs in my family, but just little jokes. Just little jokes. That ain't for me to tell people. But we got to master ourselves. And the only way we do that, we go inside. Outside, you can work on, but working on the outside and thinking that's it is a lot like painting a really crap hole of a house and then going in it and wondering, why does this house suck? I just painted it. That's how suffering is. I don't understand why it sucks. All I did was I painted it. The inside sucks, but I painted the outside. Why does the inside suck? This house sucks. You suck because you can't figure. You're tripping around. It's ignorance. So what do I do to balance this Celine Dion and this Pat Benatar and all the other wonderful women? I'm gonna do it again. I gotta say it though, guys. Men, you are worth more than your value, and women, you are more beautiful than what you look like. And what she said, I can't remember. I think she said, I'm sorry for, I started crying the minute that you left. Oh. All right, so what I do with all this feminine energy that's flooding the temple, I have to do something. And I turned on some Iron Maiden. I turned on Run to the Hills, The Trooper. I turned on Hallowed Be Thy Name. 'Cause at 5 o'clock they come to take me to the gallows. I can't remember the words. It's been so long, but I was listening to it. I was listening to Dragon Force, and I listened to Travis Barker remix, Crank That Soldier Boy. And boy, ooh. It woke up in there, all of them, and I was going to go, you! I was like, it was like that scene from like Lion King, right? Where he's like an adult, and he's screwing around in his life. And all of a sudden at night with Timon and Pumbaa there, Simba is standing in the prairie or wherever he's at, and the clouds come together, and there's Mufasa. Remember. It's a lot like ego death. And so I'm going to stand by this next statement. If you don't agree with me, don't agree with it. What I'm about to say next, don't agree with it. I respect your right not to agree with me and to have free will. I ask that you respect mine. And then we have no problem if you have a different opinion. I respect you as you respect me. Before Abraham, I am means this. Before the world told us what to be, told you who to be, what we've thrown on top of ourselves, what we collected, our values, all of that thing, all that stuff. Before we were that, we were. before Kurt, I am. Before you are, or before your name, I am. And it goes further than when you're just a baby in the flesh. It goes in there when you were both the sperm and the egg, when you were the Alpha and the Omega, and you came together and you formed. And the only way that happened was because you had faith and you believed before you had a rational mind and a body to do it in. Something about you said compete, outgun the other sperms, whatever. I don't know how women parts work. I apologize. But I know how man parts work. So, and before that even, because the people before you were like that, and on and on and on and on and on, like circle of life, right? And goes back to the beginning, back to the source. People sitting here coming up with people with too much brain power sitting here pondering, what could it mean? He said, I was there at the beginning and I'll be there at the end. And then here you go, I'll be there when it begins again. When it ends again. Be there forever. That's what it means. That's why they're obsessed with like the seed of Abraham. They knew what that stuff mean. That's why they wanted to kill him for saying, before Abraham I am. And they wanted to kill him. They wanted to kill Jesus Christ when he said, my Father and I are one. That's what it means, because their father is God. Well, he's saying he's God. Well, that's where it came from. But even then, it was beyond Abraham, wasn't it? It came to Abraham. Now, this is where we can really talk about it some more and say it was all inside of Abraham all the time. And maybe Abraham had an awakening. Anybody who's had one hears voices and goes through those episodes. But they leave. It's part of the purification process, because energy floods up, and when the spirit gets through you, it can be anywhere, but when it finally slams into you, it's up here. It makes like a nest. That's why they describe it as a dove. Some people say it's a dragon. Whatever floats your boat, man. But it makes a nest. And it lives up there, and all your energy for a long time until the purification process is done is going to flood up to this spirit, which we believe is holy. The Hindus think it's Kundalini. It doesn't matter what the name is, because they all work the same. It all happens the same way. I've written about how I had visions when it was happening of like going up the mountain, going up Calvary, and it's where I got the heaven and or the earth and the heaven and the earth and the horizon thing I explained, and the resurrection. You don't have to wait on the rapture, because the truth is that the rapture was come up by miserable people who had miserable lives, who blamed everything but what was inside of them and went looking for the truth. And they came up with this whole, the rapture, because they read some scriptures that could link you to that, could lead you to believe, could be interpreted like that. But they got the perception of man. And you got to remember, these people, just like now, you say the wrong things, you say something too dangerous, and you risk like the end of your body. Maybe it's called a coercion. Yeah. Now thank God we live in America. We got First Amendment. The people who came up with that, they were too scared to do anything about the world around them, and they blamed it because they felt powerless. They said that miserable people said that someone else is going to come save us. I can do all things. Listen to me. I can do all things through Christ that empowers me. That means that Christ expects you to do something and not just make him do it all. Didn't he already do it all? Can the king have a rest? Can he have a break? Didn't he do enough for you? He'll keep doing it for you. But if you had a heart and a real love for him, you wouldn't put your cowardice off on him and your labors off on Jesus, because he's been through enough. And so maybe instead of waiting for him to come back, you'll stand in the mirror, and I'll tell you how to jumpstart the resurrection. You want to be raptured? I'm going to tell you how to get the real rapture. Go stand in your bathroom or in front of wherever a mirror is, and you look yourself in the eyes as serious as I'm looking you in the eyes, and you believe, and you breathe in, and you feel that breath, the breath of life, and you say, before your name, I'm going to use mine, before Kurt, I am. And the rapture will begin for you. The resurrection will begin. Yes, sir. And so, that's all I got to say right now, guys. I'm experiencing an ego death. Don't try to commit me or put psychotropic drugs in me in any way, and don't do the intervention thing, and don't do any of that stuff if you're out there listening. I'm telling you, don't do that. I'm in sound mind, sound body, and I'm telling you what I'm telling you it's fine. Because I'm in Alabama. Alabama has a history of throwing people who are having spiritual experiences, and nobody understands them, and the church doesn't understand. The church don't even believe in spirits. Y'all ain't got no faith now. Get off your rockers. Get off your rockers. Quit scolding the people who show up. Go out there and do something real. Go out there to the concerts where they're singing witchcraft at the crowds, and go handle them. Don't sit there and beat the people who showed up for God. Don't beat them down. You help them. Sick people need a doctor. And that means all of them, even the people doing the witchcraft shows. All right? There's magic, there's sorcery, there's wizardry, and then there's witchcraft. That witchcraft is where hexes come from, and blood rituals, and all kinds of evil things. Don't go pecking on something that won't peck you back if you're going to peck. Have some courage, some determination, and the will to stand up and say, that enemy is not safe. I want that one. David was a little boy. King David was a little boy when he slayed a lion and when he slayed a bear. And he was a little boy when he slayed Goliath. And Goliath made all the grown men, all the veterans, tremble in fear. Not King David. Not a little boy named David. He said, I done killed lions. I done killed bears. I ain't never killed a giant before. So, unfortunately, David, he couldn't unite the feminine and the male, but Jesus did. All right? And for Kurt, I am. And I want all you guys to know before who you were, you were. All right, guys, so have a good night. And thanks for listening. I hope you come back.